So first off, you're going to want to make sure you've printed out all of your lantern pieces. That's 4 pieces for each side of the lantern. Then you're going to want to go in with your nice sharp craft knife to cut all the way around the edges along the purple lines. I like to use a sharp craft knife because I feel like it just makes it safer, in the same way that cooking with a sharper knife is safer because you're not battling the paper and it's not going to suddenly slip, and it's just easier. You're going to want to make sure you get right into all the corners, just to make sure all the corners when you finally construct the lantern are nice and sharp. Especially for the tabs, you want to get right into the centre of that corner. And then you're going to repeat this with all the other sides of the lantern, so you end up with 4 cut out sides of your lantern. Okay, so now you've cut out all of those, you're going to want to follow all the purple lines on the inside of the lantern to cut out your flowers. This is another reason to have a good sharp craft knife, is it just makes going around all the curves and into all the corners much easier and much faster. And you also notice the lines are a lot smoother, so it's definitely worth investing in some new blades for this project. It is time consuming to go around all of this, but I like to watch YouTube videos or listen to some podcasts while doing it, and the time absolutely flies. So after you've cut out all of the flowers on one side, it's time to repeat that with the 3 other sides. And now you're going to look for all the blue lines and score gently, don't cut your paper, score gently along them on the printed side of the paper. And then look for all the pink lines, flip your paper over and gently score along them on the non-printed side of the paper. I like to use the edges of the tabs and the corners of the lantern to really line up where these lines are, so you don't have to flip it over and check too often. So you're going to fold all of the edges, and I like to cup my hands and bend the top of the lantern round that curve, which really helps when you're constructing it, gluing it all together, and make sure all the flowers that you cut out really follow the curve of that lantern. So you're going to repeat that with all your other lantern pieces. So once that's done, you're going to want to heat up your glue gun nice and hot. Do be careful not to burn yourself. And I like to start with the longest side because I feel like it stabilises it and lets me really think about where I'm placing all the other tabs and really make sure they line up well. I also like to fold along the long tab just to make sure you've got a nice crisp 90-degree corner. So you're going to make your way up the lantern, gluing the tabs as you go, being careful not to put too much glue on each tab, as it can ooze out and then it looks a bit messy. You get the spider webs of the glue. If you do end up putting a bit too much glue on, don't worry, just leave it for a second and you can gently pinch off the excess glue that's oozed out onto the surface of your lantern. And also just holding the tabs that you're gluing just for 5 or 10 seconds to make sure that the glue has fully cooled and it's fully stuck before you let go. So you want to use as little as you can, but also enough that it doesn't dry before you have a chance to stick it. So for the final side, I like to start at the bottom and glue one tab down, switch to the other side, and then glue the same tab down on the other side, and work my way up, alternating between both of the sides, gluing down the same tab as I go until I reach the top. I find this makes it much easier to glue everything down, sort of get your thumb and forefinger in to hold the tabs while it dries, and you just have a bit more space to maneuver, and you don't crease the lantern and bend it too much. And after you've reached the top, gluing all the way up your lantern, you can go around, pull off all the spider webs from the glue gun, fold down all the corners just to make sure they're extra sharp, and then you're done. I like to use a paintbrush to just push out the top of the lantern to make sure it follows the curve really smoothly.